I'm Shannon and welcome to today's video. So I'm back with another installment of my best and worst staterooms, and this time it's for the Disney Fantasy. Now I have to admit, we have not been on the Disney Fantasy, but we have been on the Dream, which is its sister ship. So I have a little experience, and then I've also done a lot of research on this, so hopefully you will find this helpful. I will say this is going to be a very long video because it's a very large ship. The Magic and the Wonder videos were about 49 minutes long. The Dream was well over an hour, so this is going to be a long video. Down in the description box, you will see timestamps. So basically you can just fast forward. So if you are looking to book the Royal Suite, which will be the last staterooms, if you're booking the Royal Suite, you're probably not watching this video, but if you are, you can just fast forward and go straight to that because that will be the last stateroom I will cover. But if you're looking at inside an Oceanview, you can kind of fast forward to that, and then or if you're looking at verandas, you can kind of fast forward. So I'm going to go over right now all the different types of categories, how many are in each category, and then kind of give you a little kind of spoiler as far as which ones have kind of unique staterooms in each category. Okay, so I have my little cheat sheet here, and we're going to go over all the different categories that are on the Disney Fantasy, and we're going to start with the Royal Suite. There are two of them. They are category 1A and they are on deck 12. So Concierge on the Disney Fantasy are on decks 11 and 12, but the Concierge Lounge is on deck 12. So keep that in mind. The Concierge Bedroom Suite, there is, let's see, what's a one bedroom suite? There's no two bedroom suites on the Dream and the Fantasy. There's only one bedrooms, and there are 19 of them. They are on decks 11 and 12, and there's one handicap accessible. They are categories 2A and 2B. Then they have the Concierge Family Veranda Stateroom. There are 20 of them, and they are on decks 11 and 12, and there's one handicapped accessible, and that is category 3A, and that's the rest of the Concierge stateroom. So once we get past 3, they are no longer Concierge. Then we have the Family Veranda Stateroom. There are 389 of them. They are on deck 5 through 10, and there are 5 handicapped accessible, and they are categories 4A, 4B, 4C, and 4E. Now 4A, 4B, 4C they sleep 5, so they're a little longer. They have a Murphy bed at the end, so they have that space kind of just to kind of have that Murphy twin bed, I think it is. And then they also have round bathrooms. The exception is 4E. 4E does not sleep 5, they sleep 4. So basically they're the size of a regular stateroom. However, and they also do not have the round bathtubs, they have the regular bathtubs. However, their verandas are twice the size. And there's a couple, I think there's 2 that have these corner verandas that are spectacular. So keep in mind 4E, if you don't need to sleep 5, then you may want to book the 4E because there's a couple that have really large balconies, so keep that in mind. Then we're going to go to Deluxe Verandah. And this is category 5A, 5B, 5C. There's 416, and they are on decks 6 through 10. And here there really wasn't any special staterooms. It really just depended on where you want to be. So obviously, 5A is going to be higher and more midship, whereas 5C is basically all of deck 6. So, keep that in mind. The 5A is going to be higher and more of a desirable location, where the lower is going to be, but it just really depends on where you want to be. So I actually would prefer to be on deck 6. That's just us. Now going on to Deluxe Verandah, there are 30 of them. They are on decks 5 through 9, and this is 6A and 6B. Now this Deluxe Verandah category, the category 6, basically means that it has a obstructed view, maybe a smaller size veranda or a white wall veranda. So you can get that veranda, you can get that balcony, usually they tend to be on the aft. However, you can get it at a cheaper price, so keep that in mind. So that is category 6. And then you have category 7A, and that is the Navigator Veranda, and there's 26 of them, and they are on decks 5 through 9. Now the Navigator Veranda is a little bit different than the ones on the Magic and the Wonder. Those kind of had like a bench. Some of them have a bench, some of them are enclosed, but some of them, so they're a little bit more obstructed than the category 6, but maybe not as enclosed as the ones on the Magic and the Wonder. What I encourage you to do is, if you are looking at the Navigator Veranda category, look at cruisedeckplans.com. They have pictures. Not for every stateroom, but for some of the staterooms, you can actually see pictures of that stateroom. So I highly recommend it. That's the website that I use for this video. Excuse me, and they gave me permission to use that video, to use their site for these videos. Now we're moving on to the Oceanview. So the family Oceanview staterooms, there are 108 of them, and they are on decks 5 through 9, and there's 1 handicapped accessible. They are 8A, 8B, and 8C. The special ones in this category are 8A. There are only 12 of them. There's 6 on deck 6 and 5 on decks, 6 on deck 5. And we actually stayed on the Dream in 5020 and loved it. So I'll get into the video. I'll talk about why these are so special. Basically, they felt like suites. You have 2 huge portholes with the little bench where you could sit, and it was great. And we had a little one, so we didn't have to worry about him going overboard because it wasn't a veranda, it was just a window, so it was great. But we had all this space. We had like a wall in between us, so we had that private time. It was fantastic. So 8A is, I think, that special category where you're gonna get more bang for your buck. You do forego a lot of times the split bathroom, which wasn't a problem for us. We didn't mind, so with only 1 child, it wasn't a problem, but 8A is a special category. Then you go into Oceanview, the regular Oceanview, which is category 9, so it's 9A, 9B, 9C, and 9D. Now 9D has some corner staterooms that are pretty big. So 9D is another one to look for. So there's some special categories in this Oceanview category. So for Oceanview, there's 91, and they are on decks 2 and then 5 through 8. I believe, deck 9B is all on deck 2. And these are really great because that's where Enchanted Garden maybe is, and a lot of people find this very convenient. Also, if you are prone to seasickness, that might be where you want to be. So 9B, but in this category 9D, there's some special categories. So if you're looking for those, just kind of fast forward to the 8B, the 8A, and then go to 9D, because those are some special categories. Now going into interior, the Deluxe Interior, there are 19 of them, and they are on decks 5 through 9. They are 10A. And so just kind of go for there. And then we have the interior. So the Deluxe Interior, I think, are 209 square feet, and the interior are 169 square feet. So there's a good difference. I mean, it's almost 25% more for the Deluxe Interior. And I believe the Deluxe Interior also have the virtual staterooms, but I will go over that when we go through the actual floor plans. So, and then the last category is interior, 131. They are on decks 2 and then 5 through 8, and there are 4 handicapped accessible, and those are categories 11A, 11B, and 11C. So that is all the staterooms on the Disney Fantasy. So a couple of things to consider as well. So when you're choosing your stateroom, you want to consider where you're going to be. So we never really had a problem with noise. We've been below pool deck. We've been on deck 5. Some people report that deck 5 can be loud because right below is a public space. We never had that issue. Again, we were in on the Dream, we were in 5020. We didn't have that issue. But I know deck 10, if you're right below the pool deck, sometimes you can hear chairs. I think there's a Concierge, which I will go over that. There's a 3A category that is right at the end where it does tend to be loud. Like at 1:30 in the morning, they tend to move deck chairs, so keep that in mind. I will go over all of that when I go through the deck plans, when I'm talking specifically about each category. But just kind of know like where you want to be. Do you want to be close to cabanas? Do you want to be close to the gym? Do you want to be close to the theater? Do you want to be close? Are you concerned about seasickness? Then you want to be in the center of the ship as low as possible. So maybe 9B, on deck 2 would be something that you want to be at. Personally, for us, we love being on the same deck as the kids club. It's just very convenient. When we were on the Dream, we were on the same deck. It was fantastic. When we were on the Magic, we were one deck above, which wasn't that bad, but it would have been better if we were on the same deck. So one deck above wasn't as that inconvenient. We just had to take the stairs. Magic is a smaller ship. Dream obviously is a much larger ship, so keep that in mind. I guess it just depends on what works for your family. So, and then the other thing is the connecting staterooms. So if you don't need a connecting stateroom, then you probably want to try to avoid a connecting stateroom because they tend to be a little bit louder. So you can tend to hear what would be connecting. You can kind of hear more than you would probably want to hear. So we've been in a connecting stateroom. We never had an issue, but that's a report. So kind of try and avoid it if you can. However, if it's one of those special staterooms, maybe you just don't really want to care. So with that, let's get into the best and worst staterooms on the Disney Fantasy.
Okay, so we are back on cruisestateroom.com, and I'm going to go down to where we can find the Disney Fantasy, and there it is. As I've stated before, this is the website I use anytime I'm going on a cruise to help select the stateroom, and they have all the different types of ships from every different cruise line, and as you can see, it shows you the type of rooms they are, the categories, etc. So let's go ahead and do an overview of the Disney Fantasy. We will start with deck 14. Start with deck 14. And as I stated before, this cruise stateroom will bring you to the website cruisedeckplans.com. It's owned by the same company. So obviously you can see here, there's not much on deck 14. Go to deck 13. Here we have, it's basically a sun deck. Here is the Concierge private sun deck. The Concierge levels are on 11 and 12. And let's see, there is the Edge, the Teen Club. And if you look over here, you can just kind of go over these pictures, and this website will show you pictures of that specific area. So you can kind of look at, there's the sun deck there, and let's see if there's pictures of the Concierge sun deck. There you go. Okay, so let's move down. And here you have the Goofy sports deck right here. There's the basketball, and I believe that's the miniature golf. Yep. So that is deck 13. Now we're going to go to deck 12. And as I stated, this is the deck that does have some of the concierge rooms. And here we have Meridian, which is a bar, Remy, one of the specialty restaurants, Paolo, there we go. The Waves Bar, this is the Aqua Lab. So this is on the Fantasy. And there's the Aqueduct entrance. There we go. And again, more sun deck. Obviously, you can see the slide right there. There we go. And the funnel puddle and, some more of the pool. So this is kind of an overview. The pool will actually be on deck 11. And then here are the suites. So this is a lot of the concierge. Most of the concierge rooms are on deck 12. Now we're going to go to deck 11. And deck 11 is, here we have the spa. So we have the fitness area, spa, and then you have the concierge rooms. These are all 1 bedrooms or family verandas that are concierge on deck 11. And then you have the Cove Quiet Pool, the ice cream, Flo's Cafe. See the picture there. This is where you're going to see the pool. The Mickey Pool, there we go. Nemo's Reef, there we go. And just some other Vanellope's, I believe, is the ice cream shop. and then cabanas, which is would be the buffet. No one knows what it's going to look like when it comes back, but that is one of the main, casualty, I guess you could say, quick service restaurants. Now let's go to deck 10, and deck 10 is all staterooms. So you can see here, and deck 9 is the same, and deck 8, same, 7, same, 6 is the same, and then we're going to go to 5. Now 5 is where there's still staterooms, as you can see here, but this is also where the Oceaneers Lab is, and Oceaneers Club, as well as It's a Small World Nursery and Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. Now, as I've stated in all my other videos, we do prefer to be on the same deck as the Oceaneers Club or any kids club, whichever ship we're on. It just makes it very convenient having a young son. When we were on the Dream, which is the sister ship, we were on deck 5, and we were very close to the nursery, which was very convenient. Here you see the Buena Vista Theater balcony seating. So the Buena Vista Theater is where the movies are shown. And then up here in the forward, you see some staterooms. Now let's go to deck 4. And there's no staterooms here. There you have, this is the Walt Disney Theater balcony seating. And this is where the live production shows are. And then you have the Buena Vista Theater. This is the lower seating. There you can see it right here. This is where the movies are. Shutter's Portrait Studio, Port Shopping. There you go. Shutters is where you can select your pictures. That can get very busy, especially towards the end of the cruise. The D Lounge is where they have some fun events. We did some great fun events there. They actually had a little toddler hour there, playtime, which was fun when my son was only 1. This is the district area, so you can see the pubs, some lounges, another pub, Skyline, and then Evolution, the Tube. And that is deck 4. And then now we're going to go to deck 3, and this is where a lot of the restaurants are. So here you have Animator's Palette, and the Royal Palace is right here, and I believe that's called Tiana's now. I could be wrong. And then we're going to go, so see Mickey's Mainsail, Whitecaps, and the Walt Disney Theater. So this is down where the actual stage is. And then we're going to go to deck 2, and here you see there are some staterooms here. These are categories 11C and 9B. And a lot of people in 9B said that these are very convenient because they're very convenient to this restaurant here, which is Enchanted Garden. So there you have it. And then on deck 1, there's not much. There's no staterooms. There is just the tenders. This is where you would get off, and then the health center, which hopefully you would never need to. Hopefully you wouldn't need to go there. But let's go ahead and get into the specific categories now. Okay, so before we get started, I did want to correct the restaurant on the Disney Fantasy is Royal Court. So I just wanted to make sure I made that correction before I move forward. Now let's get into the staterooms, and we're going to start with the interior. There are 131 of them. This is category 11A, 11B, and 11C. And they are on decks 2 and then 5 through 8. And let's start with 11C. Now, all the category 11s, one of the things is they are about 169 square feet, and there also are no split bathrooms. So if you need a split bathroom, then you're not going to get that in the category 11. However, sometimes people prefer having one large bathroom, and that would just be the shower tub and toilet and sink all in one, so you would not get 2 sinks. If you have a larger family, then that might be inconvenient. Our family, we can deal with it because we only have 1 child. But keeping in mind, so this is 11C. This is going to be the least expensive category on the ship. And if you are someone who is prone to seasickness, this might be the category you want to book because it's very low. It's on deck 2, as low as you can get as far as staterooms. And then it's pretty midship. So these right here are very good. The 4 accessible are right here. They're already marked. Now here's the interesting thing. These 2 right here, 2007 and 2507, they are look like a handicapped accessible. They're the same size as a handicapped accessible. I believe, and I'm not 100% sure because I cannot find pictures, but I believe they do have the handicapped accessible bathrooms. However, they're not marked as handicapped accessible. Why that is, I'm not sure. Maybe they were a handicapped accessible at one point, so you would have that bathroom. And just to kind of give you an idea of what a handicapped accessible bathroom looks like, it is going to look like this. So you're going to have, no storage underneath the sink, and then you're going to have a very large shower, no bathtub, with a curtain. And I will tell you that sometimes can leak. It's not that inconvenient, but it can sometimes, you can get water everywhere. We've been in a couple handicapped accessible cabins over the years, and it's never been an issue. Not having a bathtub can be inconvenient with a little one, so just keep that in mind. We were assigned a handicapped accessible stateroom on the Magic when we booked a guarantee. So don't book a guarantee if you absolutely need a bathtub, because you could end up in a handicapped accessible stateroom. So those two, I would say, are going to be a best bet because you're going to get a lot of space if you don't mind not having a bathtub. These obviously are handicapped, only book them if you need them. Now, some of the rooms I would say not to book are these right here. Definitely 2045 and 2545, and then these three as well. These are right next to the bathroom, the public restrooms for the Enchanted Garden restaurant. Just going to have a lot of traffic. I just personally would not book those staterooms right next to the restroom. So that is category 11C. Now let's go up to deck 5, and we're going to go to 11B. Now, in speaking of the letters generally distinguish where on the ship the staterooms are located. So with letter A, it's going to be the most desired location. It's going to be midship or on a higher deck. So you'll see that in all the categories, where if it's A, it's going to be probably the most desirable stateroom in that category. So here we are. Let's look at the 11B. And 11B, if we're going to look at this it's going to be this like blue. And let's look here, and here are the 11Bs right here. So you can see they are standard accessible. These are very, very forward. So I personally would not want these. If I were going to, I would want to be on one of these sides. I do like being on the same deck as the kids club. So these are some that I would choose. As you can see, there is 11 of these 11B on this deck. And if you wanted to see a video, you could just click here, and this will bring you to the video on the Disney Fantasy of that exact stateroom. That's one of the reasons why I love this website. Let's go up to deck 6, and there's going to be 6 of these on deck 6. So there's one right here, and we don't have a video, but it does seem to be a little bit larger. Can't really see, but the reports that I have is that this stateroom is larger. And let's look back here. These are the other 5. I don't think there's anything special. They're going to be just standard inside staterooms. Now let's go up to deck 7, and there's 23 of these. And you're going to see here on the aft, all the way on the aft, you've got a couple here. Now this one's going to have some pictures so we can get a feel. Only one picture. Obviously it has the virtual window. And then let's go up here. You'll see, now these are the sideways. Most people report that the sideways configurations for the staterooms can sometimes feel a little larger. So these look like these might have, though they might just be, they look like they're sideways, but they have the doors right here. So I'm not really sure how those are set up. But if I were to pick the 11B category, I would try and get these 3 right here because they're going to be just very, very central. Now moving on to 11A. 11A is going to be on deck 8, and there's 35 of them. And as you can see right here, we can look and see if there's a video. Well, there's a video, no picture. And then there's one right here, all the way forward. Again, doesn't really appear to be any special ones. There's one that's right next to the laundry if you plan on doing laundry, if you're doing a longer cruise. that might be a stateroom that you want to be next to. As you can see here, it gives you an idea of the stateroom. And, they're inside. They're 169 square feet. They're not large, but these are for people who feel like they don't need the space. They're not going to be in their stateroom very long, and it just gives them a chance to save money and spend it elsewhere. So there you have deck 8, but there's no real special ones here. On deck 9, there we have it. Now 9101 does appear to be a little bit larger. I believe this is the same type. Can't find a picture of it, but I believe this one was at one point handicapped accessible, and that's the reason why it is a little larger. There you have it. And again, that would probably be my best bet for this one. Plus, it's very, very central. And then we're going to go up to deck 10, and there's only 3 of them. And they're pretty central in between the 2 elevator banks right here. So that is category 11. Again, I think if I were going to book an inside stateroom, I would try and get 11C, save my money, because if I was booking category 11, I would do 11C, and I would try and get one of these 2 staterooms for that extra space and then forego the bathtub. But that's just me. So that's category 11. Now we're moving on to the Deluxe Interior. This is category 10A. They are 19 of them, and they are on decks 5 through 9. So the category 10 inside staterooms are basically the same size and setup as category 9s, but they just have no outdoor view, and they do have virtual portholes. So this gives a view via camera of what's happening outside with some occasional Disney magic thrown in. And we're going to see here, these are these purple. Purple is the 10As, and here are 50, 15, and 55, 15. I will say in this category, there are no special staterooms in this category. It's really about where you want to be. So there's only 19 of them. So these go very fast. People really do like them because of the virtual porthole, and they are considerably larger than the other inside staterooms in category 11. Personally, if I were going to do it, I would pick 50, 15, or 55, 15 to be on the same deck as the kids club and the theater. I've said that before, but let's look at where the other locations are. But again, like I said, there really aren't any special ones. There's one right here, 6501, really close to the laundry if you wanted to be close to that. And then you have 3 to the back. If you wanted to see a video of the rooms, you could just click here. Now let's go up to deck number 7. There are 3 of them. There's 2 right here, and then there's 1 all the way toward the front. You can see pictures right there. Then we're going to go up to 8, also 3, and the 3 are towards the back. So there's 1 right here toward the center, right next to the laundry. And then we're going to have 2 in the aft of the ship. And then the last deck is deck 9. There are 7 of them. There are 2 on the aft, and then you're going to see 2 right here toward the center, and then 3 right here. So again, I think it just depends on where you want to be. If you're concerned about noise, then deck 9 would be great because basically 7, 8, or 9, you'd have decks where there's cabins, so there's no public spaces in between. So those would be very quiet and you can get central ship. Personally, I would like to be on deck 5 again, because we like to be on the same deck as the kids club. So now we're going to move on to the Oceanview stateroom, and this is category 9. So 9A, 9B, 9C, and 9D. And on the Dream class, people have mentioned that they do love deck 2, which is 9B, because it's very convenient. But we're going to start in 9D. And 9D is, I think, where you're going to get the most bang for your buck in regards to space. And this is probably where I would book if I were booking an Oceanview stateroom. And we're going to start, so in 9D, they start on deck 6, and there are 7 of them. 3 of them are handicapped accessible, so I'll just touch on those. Those are right here. We're not going to discuss those right now. But then you'll see these other 4 that are not handicapped accessible. The 2 I want to point out that are larger are going to be 6004 and 6502, these 2 on the end. The 6002 and 6000 are going to be pretty much standard size. They're a little bit longer, but then there's an angle, so it slants, so it cuts into the side. But let's look at 6502. There's a little bit of a picture so you can see that these rooms are a little bit wider, and this is just going to give you a little bit more space. As you can see, this is angled. It's going to give you some pretty neat views, but it's also just going to give you some more space. This is category 9D. This is deck 6. So I think those 2 staterooms right there are going to give you the most bang for your buck in 9D. Now let's go up to deck 7. And now here is where it's at. There is going to be these 4 corner rooms. Again, these are Oceanview 9D, and you see 7006 and 7504. If you want to see videos, you would just click on here and you can show the video right here. I don't think there's any pictures for either of these. Yes. And then the same thing on deck 8. You have 8006 and 8504. They're regular staterooms. They're just corner. They're odd shaped, so they're going to give you more space. Again, this is category 9D, and these are going to be those special cabins that are going to give you more space and are going to be least expensive because they are the 9D category. So you're going to probably save quite a bit of money, but get a lot more space. Now let's go on to 9C, and 9C starts on deck 7. And they are these in the front. So here are some special ones as well. So there are 5 of them on 9Cs on deck 7. And as you can see, there's 1 handicapped accessible. We won't talk about that one. There's no pictures for these, but these 2 on the end, 7004 and 7502, are a little bit wider and are going to give you more space. These 2 right here in the middle are going to be pretty average. They may have a little bit longer, but that's because the angle of the wall right here. So in the 9C category, 7004 and 7502 are the 2 I would say. Now let's go up to deck 8. There's 5 of them. It's pretty much the same staterooms. You'll see right here 1 handicapped accessible, but it's 8004 and then 8502. So let's take a look at some pictures at 8004. There you can see the width of the stateroom. This is going to give you quite a bit of room in a Oceanview stateroom. Normally, I believe they're 204 square feet. So obviously you can see they do have the split bathroom. So this wall is slanted, which does cut into the space, but the room is just wider, which is just really nice. And when you're traveling with little ones, just having that little bit of extra space where they can move and you guys can put your stuff, it's just very, very convenient. So those right there, those 4 staterooms on the end, so 8004, 8502, and then on deck 7, 7004 and 7502 are the ones I recommend in category 9C. Now going to deck 2, we're going to look at the 9Bs, and there really aren't any that I think are special. They're all pretty much the same. It just depends on where you want to be. If you're concerned, you wanted an ocean view, but you wanted to you're concerned about seasickness, then maybe deck 2 would be where you'd want to be. Very convenient to the restaurants. I would say try and stick to this area right here, 2024, 2026, 2524, 2526, somewhere in between. Because I would say you don't want to be too close to the restaurants. And again, I wouldn't want to be too close to the bathroom here. There's usually a lot of privacy in this hallway, but I would just say probably stick towards the middle of it. But no real special staterooms here. It's just a matter of location and what's available when you book. Now we're going to move on to the 9As, and there's 4 handicapped accessible, and they start on deck 5. So we're going to look here, and on deck 5, there are only 2 of them. And let me see, the 9As are going to be these green. So here are the 2 handicapped accessible. They're all corners. We will go over handicapped accessible at the end. Let's go to deck 6. 2 of them also, these 2 corners are handicapped accessible. So they're going to be very large with a huge balcony. And then there are, let's see, I believe there's 5 in the front. I'm sorry, let's see. No, there would be 2 in the front here. So this is deck 6. And we have the 2 right here. And let's see if was there more. Oh, nope, there's only 4 on this deck. And let's see, we're going to go to deck 7. And they are only 2 of them, and they are in the front. Same. These I don't think are very special. I would, let's see, and deck 8, and there's 2 more. Same right here. So there's really nothing special about these. Honestly, I think you're going to get more bang for your buck in the 9C category than, or even the 9C or 9D category than you would for 9A. You're going to book 9A if you just want to be on a higher deck or maybe a more ideal location. But there you have it. That is the Oceanview category 9. Okay, next we're moving on to the family Oceanview stateroom category. This is category 8. There's 8A, 8B, and 8C. Now, family means that they are bigger staterooms that sleep up to 5 and have round tubs. They also have very large portholes with seating. Now, the exceptions are 8As, and I will say 8As are the star in the category 8. So keep that in mind. They are almost like suites, and they have 2 large portholes with lots of space, and many have a divider of some kind between the bed and the seating area. We had an 8A. We absolutely loved it on the Disney Dream. So now some of the staterooms don't have bathtubs. Some of them are set up like a handicapped accessible. And then also some of them do not have the split bathroom. We had a regular bathroom with a bathtub, but we did not have a split bathroom, which was fine because of the space we had. So let's get into the 8C category first. And the 8C category starts on deck 5, and there are 16 of them. And as you can see, they are this brown. There's, I think, 14 back here in the aft. And then there's 2 in the front. So right here, these do have that pull down Murphy bed. They do have a lot of space. So again, if you wanted to be on deck 5, and 8C might be a great one because you could be here. Now let's go up to deck 6. And on deck 6, there's 14 of them. And there is 12 toward the back. And let's see if we can just take a look at a picture here. It's not letting me. There we go. So just gives you an idea of the room. So there you can see that huge porthole with that seating, but it's just regular, a standard size stateroom. There's 12 in the back, and then again, there is 2 in the front. If you wanted to be near the washer dryer, there you go. And then now that's it for the category 8C. 8B are on the higher decks, again, going with the more desirable staterooms. And on deck 7, there are 22 of them, and they are going to be, I think they're these pink. Yes, they are these pink staterooms right here. So there's some in the front and some in the aft part of the ship. Then we're going to go to deck 8, and on deck 8, there's also 22. There you go, and let's see if we can just take a picture right here. Yeah, so it looks pretty much the same as the 8Cs, just a different location. So in this category, it's really about where do you want to be? Do you want to be on a higher deck? You can look at some videos of some staterooms before. And then on deck 9, let's look, there are 22 as well. And it's these pink staterooms. Again, they're the same. So if you're worried about, about noise, then you're going to probably want to be on one of these floors that don't have any public areas above or below them. Now let's get into the 8As. There are only 12 of them. One of them is handicapped accessible. So considering there's only 11 that are regularly bookable. Let's look at here. So we were in 50/20, and so 50/20, what I believe is that these 4 right here have the divider. So there's no pictures here, but let's see if there's any pictures on this one. There isn't, but there is a video, and let's see if we can take a look. You'll see this one has a divider. So it's almost like a suite. Okay. So you've got the porthole, and let's see here. And and regular bathroom, but it is not split. So you get one bathroom, but there's no split bathroom, but you do have the bathtub. And you can see how this has a wall here. So these staterooms have that wall, but look at all that space. I mean, amazing. So that's 5520. 5020 is the same, and I believe 5022 and 5522 also have the dividers. Let's see if we can see some pictures here. Yes, it does look like these are the ones that have the dividers. So these 4 staterooms are the only ones that have that divider. So keep that in mind. The other ones, they do have more space, but these 4 staterooms are the only ones that have this like wall, which was really nice. We had our son was 1, so we were able to put a pack and play in the living room and then close this. He was able to go to sleep, and we were just able to have a little bit of privacy. So very, very, very convenient. So my favorite in this category are 5020, 5022, 5520, and 5522. Those are my favorite. Now these 2 here don't have the divider, and they also, I believe, have the handicapped accessible stateroom. So let's see if we can see the stateroom. As you can see, it doesn't have, it's kind of more of like an L-shaped stateroom. It does have the 2 portholes, but it's more of an L shape. And let's see if we can get to the bathroom. There we go. Yes. So as you can see, it's more of a handicapped accessible bathroom. So it's not a problem. I would still choose this stateroom over any if this was the only one available, but just keep in mind you're not going to have a bathtub in this stateroom. So that's 5018 and 5518. They're more of an L shape. They don't have the privacy wall, and then the bathrooms are handicapped accessible type bathrooms. Now let's go up to deck 6. That's where the other 6 are. And as you can see, this one is handicapped accessible. So keep that in mind. So we won't look at that one right now. These 3, 6012, 6510, and 6512 also, I believe, have the handicapped accessible bathrooms. And let's see if we can see a picture. Yes, you can see right here, it has got the handicapped accessible bathroom. So yes, you can see the curtain right here, which means it has the handicapped accessible bathroom. Let's see if we can get a picture of the room. As you can see, it does have quite a bit of space in the stateroom, so you have a lot of moving space, and it's not a handicapped accessible. So keep that in mind. So if you don't mind not having a bathtub, you can book 6012, 6510, and 6512. Now 6016 and 6514, they are larger. They have the regular bathroom with a bathtub. I don't believe it's split. It doesn't have the wall, but it's going to be a larger stateroom as well. Yes, this one does have, I believe, the bathtub, but it's 1 bathroom. So there we go. Let's look at a picture, and let's see if we can get a picture of let's hear. Yeah, so there's the bathroom. So as you can see, it's all 1 bathroom, and then you can get a picture of the stateroom. So here it's got a pole in the middle, so just a lot of space. There's no wall here, but a lot of space. So again, I think any of the 8A staterooms, these are fantastic. These are great for families, great to have. If you have little ones, you need to set up a pack and play. These are just fantastic rooms. I highly recommend it. It was very convenient for us. I think these are probably some of the best of the least expensive staterooms that you're going to find on the Dream class. Now we're going to get into the Navigator Verandah class. This is category 7A. Now on the Dream class, which includes the fantasy, it's just a slightly obstructed view from the veranda. These are slightly more obstructed than the category 6, and that's why it's the category 7 designation. There are 2 on the aft, which are 5188. I'm going to go over now 50 and 5688 that have small verandas, but if you like that aft view, maybe that's something that you want. And those are the 2 right here. They're 5188 and 5688. They have these corner aft. I don't even think they can fit a regular chair. Let's see if we can find a picture. So you can probably look at this video. She does a pretty good view of the balcony. So you can see right here. Let's see if she does. She shows the corner. And so you can kind of click on her video to get a full view of, yeah, Yep, there it is. So you can see the corner. So it's a pretty small, it's got a little bench, but it's a small corner. If you really like aft views, it's not going to be a problem. Or if you're someone like us that goes on the balcony just a little bit, but just likes having it there, this might be something for you as well. So that's 5688 and 5188. As far as the other ones, they are just somewhat obstructed. So there's 2 right there, and I believe there's 2 in the front, 5024 and then 5524. Now keep in mind that these staterooms actually their balconies go out a little further. So if someone could peek, actually can kind of see into this, your balcony over here. But let's give you a picture of the balcony. So as you can see, it is a little bit obstructed. Now we're gonna go to deck 6, and you'll see 2 right there. So on deck 6, there's only 2. It's these 2 right here. And deck 7, there are 6. There are 4 in the aft, as you can see right here. You can see how it is obstructed. And then I believe there are 2 near the front. There you go, right here. So you can get a good view of the obstruction. So it's a little enclosed. That might be something you like, and it's a good way. They tend to be the least expensive verandas. Going to deck 8, there are 6, 2 again in the front, and 4 in the back. And then we're going to go up to deck 9, and that's my son yelling. I have a 5-year-old. And you'll see 2 in the front and 4 in the back. So with category Navigator Veranda, if you wanted to avoid those 2 on the back, as far as the aft, as far as the other ones, it's really about where on the ship you want to be. So obviously, again, we like being on deck 5, so we might choose those aft because we're not really big balcony people. And that corner, we love the aft view. But as far as everything else, it's really about location. Now we're moving on to the Deluxe Veranda category, which is category 6. So we have 6A and 6B. Category 6 staterooms are like category 5 staterooms, but they all have either an undersized, obstructed, or white wall veranda. And some of these differences are minor. So if you want to save a little money from a category 5, category 6 might be for you. And on the Dream class, which would be the Dreamy and the Fantasy, some of the 6Bs are on the aft of the ship. So those would be my choice. And there's 4 of them. I'm going to go over them now. So for 6B, they are on decks 5, 6, and 7. So first of all, for this 6 category, there's only 30 of them, and they are on decks 5 through 9. 6B are on 5, 6, and 7, and then 6As are on decks 8 and 9. So the special ones in this category are these ones on the aft. They are 5190, 5192, and you can see right here, it's got a little bit of a larger extra balcony, and it's also on the aft. So the aft is just got a beautiful view. And then these are going to be normal. I think they have white wall verandas, which is why they are category 6. And then we're going to go to deck 6, and there's 2 more as well. So you have 6188 and 6688. These again have very large verandas, and then these are pretty standard. They have the white wall. So for the category 6, the ones that are special, I would say, are the ones on the aft. The rooms are all pretty much the same. They're the standard size stateroom, but it's where you're going to get the extra space is on the balcony. So going on to the 6A category, there are on deck 7. On deck 7, it's still 6B, but again, there's nothing special about these cabins. There's no more on the aft. Now going on to 6A, they are on deck 8, and there are 6 of them, and it's these orange ones right here. Again, it's pretty much just because of the location. And then on deck 9, it's pretty much the same location, and there are 4 of them. It's these 4 right here. So nothing to write home about for the 6As. Honestly, the 4 special ones are the aft, and that's because you're going to get extra space on the balcony, and that's category 6. Now we're moving on to the category 5 Deluxe Veranda category. Now there's nothing special to write home. These are categories 5A, 5B, and 5C. There's 416 of them. So this is a very, very large category. I think this is the category that has the most amount of staterooms in it. They are on decks 6 through 10. And there are 2 handicapped accessible, and here it's all depending upon location. There really aren't any special staterooms. So on 5C are all on deck 6, 5B are on decks 7 and 8, and 5A are on decks 9 and 10. And I have heard reports to avoid deck 10 because of the pool noise from deck 11. So keep that in mind. But let's just go over all of these rooms. So on deck, let's see, on deck 6, there's 84 of them, and it's the stark blue right here. So as you can see, there are more on the aft right here. And then there's quite a bit in the midship and forward. So obviously, if you wanted to get on this ship, this is as close. If you wanted to be in this category and be close to the kids club, then I would say try and be close to the stairs, because you could just literally come out, go down the stairs, and the kids club is right around here. So that's deck 6, and that is category 5C. Now going to deck 7 is where we're going to find the 5Bs, and there are 82 of them on deck 7, and there's 1 handicapped accessible. So as you can see, there's a lot in the forward, and then in the back right here. So there we go. And then on deck 8, you'll see here pretty much the same location, right next to a laundry here, and there we have right here on the forward part of the ship. Now let's move on to deck 9, and this is where we're going to find the 5As, and these are these orange staterooms right here. So this is the more central forward part of the ship, and then some toward the back. And then here you have the handicapped accessible right here on this corner. And then we're going to move to deck 10. And as you can see, there's them on the aft. And on deck 10, there are, let's see, there are 92, and there's 79 on deck 9. And here we have in the forward. So again, it's really just depending upon location. There really aren't any special staterooms in category 5, but you're going to get that beautiful veranda and really your choice of location on the ship. Now we're moving on to the family veranda stateroom category, and this is category 4. So it's 4A, 4B, 4C, and 4E. There's no 4D, so keep that in mind. Now the Deluxe Family Oceanview stateroom with veranda are the biggest non-concierge staterooms on the ship. So the word family, again in the title, means that the stateroom is slightly larger and sleeps up to 5. So it's a little bit longer, and it has that pull-down Murphy bed. Now on the Dream Class, again, it means that they have a round bathtub instead of the standard rectangular one that's found in most staterooms. The exception to this rule are the 4Es on both the Dream and the Fantasy, and that's a notable exception. The 4Es only sleep 4, and they're the same size as the category 5 staterooms, so they're not the extended family size. And they also don't have the round tubs. However, they have ginormous verandas, and then there's even a couple, so they all have balconies that are basically double the size, and some of them are even larger than that. So let's go into this category. There are 389 category 4s. They are on decks 5 through 10. There's 5 handicapped accessible, but let's get into the 4Es, because honestly in this category, unless you need the extra space to sleep 5, there are some real gems in this category. So we're going to start on deck 5, and there's 44 in this category, and it's this light blue right here. So here is where you're going to see it. These two right here on the end, 5150 and 5650, the rooms are the same size, but wait till you see the balcony. The balconies are huge. They are just extended. So not only are they longer, which all the other 4Es are, this one has just a lot more extra space. I mean, look at all this space that you get on the balcony. So if you are someone who likes a large balcony, this is where to go. And let's see here, the same thing for 5650. It's going to give you a very, very large balcony. So as you can see, it's even wider than the regular stateroom. So it's just a really large balcony. The rest of them in 4E on here, you can take a look. They are extended, so you can probably see a picture here. They're just extended. They're longer. so that you can see they're longer, but they're not as wide as those two right here, 5150 and 5650. Those are gems. And then also very close to the Oceaneers Club. So bonus on that one. The other one is, this one is the handicapped accessible, so 5552. These two right here, 5026 and 5526, have a extended balcony, and it's a little bit larger because it's a corner. So it's got a little bit of extra space, really nice sized balcony. And then I think this one too has a good size balcony. Yes, you can see right here that this one has a really good size balcony here. And there's my son interrupting again. So there you have it. That's 52. So there are some real gems on deck 5 if you're like me and you want a large balcony. Stateroom isn't going to be larger, but you're going to have an extra large balcony, and then you're also close to the kids club. Now let's go on to deck 6, and there's only 3 on deck 6. And let's see where they are. So they are all in the aft, and these are really special. These have, the ones on the end are going to be a little bit larger, but they have the extended balcony right there. So there you can see the extended balcony. This one's right in the center. It's extended, and then it's right on the aft. I mean, spectacular views. If you've never been on the aft, it's one of our favorite spots on the ship is to be on the aft. So those 3 also great. Let's move on to deck 7, and there's going to be 5 on deck 7. Now here are where the special cabins are. Deck 7, 7190 and 7688. These are corner staterooms. Wait till you see. Not only is the balcony, I mean, hello, look at the size of that balcony. I mean, it's larger than some of the cabins. It's basically circles the back of the ship. But then, so here, I mean, just amazing. You can pretty much have your own sun deck. But then you also have a larger stateroom. So it's just got a little bit of extra space. Obviously, it's an odd shaped room, but you've got extra space. So 7190, 7688 special staterooms. Here also regular size staterooms going to have an extra long balcony here. So keep that in mind. Those will be very convenient. I believe these have, let me see, I believe these have the handicapped accessible bathrooms, but let's see if we can see in the video if they show the bathroom. And yes, this do. So keep in mind that these corner, typically when they have these large staterooms, they are going to have the handicapped accessible bathrooms. So keep in mind that these two rooms will not have the bathtubs. So I'll give up a bathtub for that balcony and space any day. Let's move up to deck 8. And there's 4 on deck 8. And again, you've got one with a very large balcony. So let's look at these 3. Normal size stateroom, large balcony on the aft, beautiful, but 8682. Again, most likely going to have I won't click on that, but most likely going to have a handicapped accessible bathroom. Look at that video and you'll be able to see for sure. But again, I mean, that's going to circle the whole ship. And then we're going to go to deck 9, and here you have, right here, these right here, 9172 and 9672 are going to have extremely long balconies, as you can see right here. And then looking at 9670, this is also the corner bathroom. As you can see, there's the room. So it's got that corner. It's got a lot of extra space. Again, the bathroom is going to be handicapped accessible. So if that's a problem for your family, don't book this. But let's look at the balcony. Hello, that's amazing. I mean, you can pretty much have a party on your balcony. So that is stateroom 9670, category 4E. And then the last ones are going to be on deck 10 and right here. So these two here are going to be a little bit larger. They are also going to have fairly large balconies as well. There's no pictures here, I don't think. Yes, this one had some pictures. So let's see if we can see the balcony picture, if there was. Yes, here it is. So this also has very large balconies. So the rooms they're corner rooms, but they're not as big as the other ones, but you're still going to have a nice sized balcony here. Let's see if the room. So it's a little bigger than a regular room, not too much bigger. Personally, I would try, if I was booking this category, I'd try to get 9670 or 8682. Those were the two that I would be trying to get. You just can't beat them. And that is category 4E. Now let's go to 4C. And here, from here on out, there's really no special cabins. These are just based on location. So I'll go over them very quick. Deck 6, there are 64 of the 4Cs, and they are the gray, so they're all in the center. So here we have it. They're all in the center of the ship. Very, very great location. That is 4C. The 4Bs are going to be on deck 7 and 8. There's 4 handicapped accessible. So on deck 7, there are 64. And let's see, they are the pink ones right here. And again, they're all in the center. You can see right there. Let's see. And let's see if that's it. Yes, so there's 4 right there. I'm sorry, let's see, that's, looking at my notes here, 64. And then on deck 8, there are 62. And as you can see, let's look here. There they are. So the handicapped accessible are right here, 80, 90, 85, 88, 80, 92, and 85, 90. The rest are going to be just based on location. And then we're going to get to the 4As. Looking at deck 9, there's 64 of them. There are these 4As right here. Really just depends on location. And then deck 10. And again, as I've mentioned before, the travel agent that I spoke to said to try and avoid deck 10 because especially here, you're right below the pool. It could get loud in the middle of the night, so keep that in mind. However, you might want to be close to the pool deck and cabanas. So that is deck 10, and there's 64 of them. So that is the family veranda stateroom category, which is category 4. Okay, now we're moving on to the Concierge family veranda stateroom. So now we're getting to all the Concierge staterooms. These are all on decks 11 and 12. So in this category is the 3A. There are 20 of them. And there's only 1 handicapped accessible. And the 3A staterooms are essentially category 4 staterooms with concierge soft goods and concierge service. And we'll get into some of these on the bump out. So if you see this bump out right here, this is going to give you a little bit of extra balcony space. But let's get into it. So look at deck 11. So if you see where deck 11, this is the pool deck. You also have cabanas on the other side, so this is very, very convenient. Also, it's close to the fitness center, very, very convenient for a lot of things. The interesting thing about the staterooms on this category is, let me see if I can find a picture. Yes, these have like a cover. So it's kind of, they're somewhat enclosed. It is open, but they're somewhat enclosed. Personally, I love that. I think it's beautiful. I think it's very relaxing. Some people might not like that. So I think if I were booking a concierge level, probably not going to happen, but if I were, I would probably want to be on deck 11 because honestly, I'd rather be close to the pool, close to the gym, close to some of the things. Being close to the concierge lounge would probably not be as important. The concierge lounge, if you look, is right above, so it's right here. I wouldn't mind going right up of the stairs to go to the concierge lounge from here. Personally, I'd rather be on the same deck as the pool, but that's just me. So I think that's something to consider what is most important to you. The one stateroom I would say avoid is this one right here, 11022. There are reports that this one can be very loud when they move the pool decks from the quiet cove adult pool area when they're moving these. So didn't happen. There were no reports. I couldn't find any reports from this stateroom of it being loud, but this one was. So the gems in this category would be for the 3A would be 11004. And then on deck 12, you're going to see the ones on the bump out here, which are 12008, 12010, 12508, and 12510. Let's see if there's any pictures here. No, it's just a YouTube video. But obviously, you're going to have the bump out right here. And honestly, if I were on this side, I would probably pick one of these two, 12508 or or 12.510. And again, I would try to avoid these two right here, just being on the end. Trying to be, I would probably want to be also close to the bump out, close to Concierge Lounge. So that is category 3A, the Concierge Family Veranda Stateroom. Okay, now we're going to move on to the Concierge 1-bedroom suite. There are 19 of them, and they are on decks 11 and 12, and there's one handicapped accessible. And 2B, we're going to start with 2B. There are 18 of them, and you can see there are these dark teal. Again, the handicapped accessible is the one of the ones on the bump out, 11006. The best one in this category on deck 11 would be 11002 because it is on the bump out, and as you can see right there, there is a picture of the balcony, so it is a little bit bigger and it's got that curve, so very convenient. Again, as I said, I would like to be on deck 11 personally, but any of these would be good. Now going up to deck 12, you're going to see the ones on the bump out, so you have 12006 and 12012, 12506, and then 12512. These are just going to give you a little bit of extra room. Again, these would be those four would be my choice. Just it's going to give you a little bit of extra room on the balcony. And then as you can see, these are connecting. So if you needed a connecting room, you could get some really major balcony space right there. So, and then you'd be very, very close to the Concierge. Now looking at 2A, 2A is spectacular, and there's only one of them, and it is this 1200, or actually 12,000 room, and it's right here, deck 12, and it's in between the two royal suites. So reports are that they usually, during the initial launch of the ship or when the itineraries come out, this stateroom is usually held back because they wait for whoever are booking the royal suite to see if they want this, because this room connects to both of these staterooms. If once they're booked, they say, no, we don't want a connecting stateroom, then this one's get released. So if you are looking to book this stateroom, keep an eye out because it could pop up later on. So keep that in mind. But my understanding, this is spectacular. It's got the forward. It's just beautiful. I mean, you can see a picture of the balcony here. Let's see if we can find where's the balcony. So, I mean, look at that. And you're going to be facing, I mean, just absolutely beautiful. So that is the category Concierge 1-bedroom suites, categories 2A and 2B on the Disney Fantasy. And now it leads us to the last two staterooms on the Disney Fantasy, and that are the two Royal Suites. They are category 1A. They are Concierge Royal Suites with veranda. And here you go. They are 12002 and 12502. They are spectacular. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, if you're booking this, well, let's be honest. If you're booking this, you're probably not watching my video. But it is nice. I do kind of sometimes look at these and just kind of dream of maybe one day. I mean, look, you've got your own jacuzzi. So these are amazing. Now, obviously, this one's port side, this one's starboard side. And that leads me to the question that is always asked is which is better, port side or starboard side? And honestly, it really depends on your itinerary. The one thing I would say is if you're going to Castaway Cay, then you probably want to be on the starboard side because that's going to give you a view of Castaway Cay. It's going to give you a view of the island and of the beach area. If you're on the port side, you'll be overlooking exactly that, the port. So you'll be, which could be entertaining. We got to watch. We had boarded the ship when a storm came through, so we got to watch everybody try and run to the ship and get drenched, which was entertaining. But the best views are actually on the starboard side. Other itineraries, depending on where you are staying. You know, if you were maybe going through Panama Canal going westbound, then you might want to be on the port side. So keep that in mind. It really just depends on your itinerary. So, but that's it. Those are all the staterooms on the Disney Fantasy, and we will go over the handicapped accessible now. Okay, so now I just want to show everyone where the handicapped accessible staterooms are. Remember that these are reserved for people who need them. They have extra space. They have handicapped accessible bathrooms. Disney does require some sort of documentation, and they reserve the right to bump you if they find out that you booked it and you didn't need it and someone else needs it. So keep that in mind. Your travel agent can walk you through that. We've booked a stateroom for my mother-in-law and she needed it, and on Royal Caribbean, but our travel agent helped us with that. Also keep in mind, if you book a stateroom that is a guarantee, you could end up in a handicapped accessible stateroom, and they do not have bathtubs. So if you have a child who will only take a bath and will not take a shower, then don't book a guarantee, because you're going to have, you could get into a handicapped accessible stateroom. That is what happened to us on the Magic. We actually loved it. We had a beautiful stateroom. We gave up the bathtub because we had a large stateroom and a ginormous balcony, and it was a small price to pay to give up that bathtub. So we're on deck 2. There are 4. They are the category 11C, and this is the least expensive state category on the Disney Fantasy. Now let's go up to deck 5, and I'm just going to go through and see where they are and just point them out and what category they are. So on deck 5, we have some right here. This is the 4E. This one has a ginormous balcony. The 4Es, obviously, let's see if we can see one. Yes, you can see here, this one has a huge balcony. So if you needed the handicapped accessible, this is going to give you a nice size balcony. Looking at the back, let's see. Yes, you have 2 right here on the corner. 9A on both sides, again, is going to give you nice size balcony. Let's go up to deck 6. And again, same category, 9A right there. And I believe this is where the 8A category is, the handicapped accessible right here, 6014. And then you have 9D category, 6006, 6504, and 6500. All of these are going to give you a nice ocean view and nice space. Going up to deck 7, 7500 is a category 9C, so an ocean view stateroom that is handicapped accessible. And let's see here. I'm just going to go look down, and doesn't seem that there's any more. Going up to deck 8. Right here, we have 5B, 8184. Again, it's going to give you a huge balcony. And let's see if we see any others. I think that was it. I could be wrong, but let me see. I think that was it. Oh, there's one in the front, 8500. Right there. And that is category 9C, so it's an ocean view. Deck 9, there we go. I don't see, maybe in the back. I think there's one in the back. Yes, 9170, again, category 5A. Let's move up to deck 10. None on the aft. And I think that was it. I don't think there was any on deck 10. So there's no handicapped accessible on deck 10. Deck 11, there are 2. That's 1100 and 1106. And that is it. I don't believe there's any on 12. And there is not. So that completes all the handicapped accessible. There are only 21 of them. So if you need a handicapped accessible stateroom, make sure you book early, because if you need it, you're going to have to book early. Now, if you maybe just need the extra space in the bathroom, the handrails, and not have to climb into a tub, look at those staterooms that have the handicapped accessible bathroom, but are not marked as a handicapped accessible. So keep that in mind as well. So there you have it. Those are all the best and worst staterooms on the Disney Fantasy. And let me know below what you think. And if you have any conflicting information, let me know below so that so your comments can help others.
So there it is. Those are my best and worst staterooms on the Disney Fantasy. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please, click like, click and subscribe. That way you get a notification every time I post a new video. I will be doing a video for this for the Disney Wish. I don't know when. That has been the question, but I think once the deck plans come out and we get a little bit more information, I will probably do a preliminary video, and then I will do an updated video once we get some feedback from the Disney Wish. Hopefully deck plans will be coming out shortly. But if you have stayed on the Fantasy, please post some comments below. Tell us your stateroom. Tell us if you liked it, if you didn't like it, what was good about it, what was bad about it. If I was wrong about a stateroom, tell me. I have no problem someone telling me that I was wrong, because if, you know, I never sailed on the Fantasy, so I am just kind of going on my research and other people's feedback. But if you've stayed in a certain stateroom and said, you know what, you were totally wrong, that stateroom was horrible, or that stateroom was fantastic, let me know in the comments below. Let other people know which staterooms you liked. So I hope you liked this video, and definitely please subscribe so that you can get more notifications. And that is it. Thanks everyone. Bye.